Students were placed on lockdown once again, but this time the threat wasn't swatting calls. An East High School student shot 2 staff members.
This comes just weeks after an East High School student was killed near the campus. Students staged a walkout 3 days later, asking for action to be taken to increase safety and security measures. Joining us this morning to discuss the physical and the emotional safety in schools is our parenting expert and licensed therapist, Dr. Sheryl Ziegler. Dr. Ziegler, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So students want to feel safer in school. I mean, like we've heard that time and time again, especially yesterday. They're pushing for more security, of course, but what about emotional security? That's got to be so important right now.
Absolutely. So emotional security is a prerequisite to learning. So you can't learn if you feel uncomfortable, unsafe, like your life might be in danger, or just that heightened sense of vigilance and wondering what's happening around you. So that's one of the things that absolutely needs to be established. There's many things that need to happen as a result of what's been happening at East High School, but one of the many things is just establishing that environment that says we listen to one another when we speak, we have open dialogue, and we have ongoing dialogue, not just for a short amount of time. Spring break is next week, we come back and we kind of move on as if, maybe nothing happened. That's actually not really that healthy.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to know that these students there at East High School have really been through quite a bit of trauma over the past couple of months, from the swatting calls, the gun violence. We know that not everybody expresses themselves in the same way, so parents may not be able to detect what's happening. Just give us some insight of what students might be feeling right now.
Yeah, I think from what typically happens, as well as the kids that I work with that go to East High School, there's a little bit of everything. This isn't going to be a one-size-fits-all reaction. I think there's some kids who laugh it off, joke it off, they may make light of it, and some of that is just their discomfort. And so there's those kids. There's some kids that might be afraid, they're triggered. If you have a trauma history, then that's going to make these kinds of traumatic events even worse. So you might see that disturbance in sleep, disturbance in mood and appetite. And then there's others who just say they don't want to go back to school, especially the seniors, where they say, I'm almost done, I got to get out of here, I can't be around this anymore. So that sense of safety, though, is gone for any of those camps of kids. So in general, though they might react differently, the theme here is there's no sense that you can be carefree and just be a regular teenager in high school. Unfortunately, that's really been taken away from them.
Yeah. You were talking about having conversations and ongoing conversations, not like just today and then when they return to school, we don't have another conversation. But what can teachers and administrators do as well?
Well, there's a couple of things in general, not necessarily right after another school shooting, but that just creates these kinds of safe and secure environments and culture in schools. And so one of them is having a lightness. So you can still be really clear about what happened, but still have this low stress environment, is what they call it. So teachers are light. You have rituals when the kids walk into the school. You have time periods where you're listening to students. And so that goes on to also saying, the message to the students is, we want you to participate, but we don't expect you to be perfect, because pressure is really huge for them. And then really that last piece of just saying, we're going to actively listen. And what that means is that when you talk, I'm listening with my eyes and my body, I'm reflecting back to you what you said, and I'm taking your words and doing something with action. That is the big message that I want to say in the spirit of all of these kids. They're tired of the talk. They really want action. So if they can be a part of that, that's really powerful.
And all of these actions, are so important. Just briefly, because we're out of time, you mentioned that the sense of safety is gone. I think parents want to know, are they going to be able to get that back? Is that something, as they grow older, are they going to be able to feel secure?
There's a couple of factors that'll depend on, and really it is the multitude of traumas that a person experiences that generally is an indicator of how they do when they're older. So if you have one single event, you process it well, generally you can go on to live a very healthy, happy life. But if you have these multiple events and you live under this, and maybe at home there's stress and pressures, that's when it gets really more difficult. I really urge people that are in that situation to go seek help. There are a lot of different resources available. It's really important to process trauma. Sometimes right now is more about the support with your family, but then later on down the road, 30, 40, 60 days after, is actually when the really important work has to be done.
Dr. Ziegler, always appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
Thank you.